Welcome to Save As Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Save As Ability. It's David D'Arcangelo, and we've got another great guest for you. But before we welcome in Sarah Todd, we want to ask if you can help us continue to build our channel by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting. All of that really does help us keep great content flowing for you. So again, we have a guest. Welcome in Sarah Todd.
Hi, David. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's great to have you. And you're an influencer and an author. And, I saw your short film earlier. Very impressed. I think the thing that is the biggest takeaway for me is your positive attitude, which is the reason why we wanted to have you here on Save As Ability.
Thank you.
Because we're positive here. So
Love it.
maybe we can start out with giving our audience and listeners or viewers a little bit of an overview of Sarah Todd and your whole situation in life and everything. And then some of the things you're working on. I mean, I love the movie and the books and everything else. So why don't we get right into it, Sarah? I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. So, hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Todd. I go by Sarah Todd as a double name, or ST as a nickname. I'm from Atlanta, so that's where I'm tuning in from right now. Lived here my whole life, other than when I was in college in Charlotte. And I'm 24. I've had a physical disability since I was 8, so most of my life. My disability has caused paralysis. So when I was 8, I actually became paralyzed from the neck down on an ordinary day, didn't have any symptoms, didn't have any warning. And I have been diagnosed with a condition called acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM. So AFM actually caused me to develop a spinal cord injury from C2 to T1. So that all happened in 2010 when I was 8. And I did thankfully recover the ability to walk. So within 2 months being in the hospital, I regained the ability to walk. But my disability left me with partial paralysis in my arms and hands. So that's how my disabilities continue to affect me to this day. And obviously makes it difficult to do certain tasks by myself, rely on others for help, all those things. But I got into disability advocacy because of my disability when I was 8 and started advocacy very early on because everything happened when I was so young. So when I was 10, I feel like that's when everything really began for me advocacy wise. I met my best friend to this day, Jen, who has a similar disability to me. We decided to write out our disability journeys and put them together into a book that we self-published. So we did that when I was 10 and she was 14. And then we did like little book signing events, and it made me realize I really loved writing and speaking about disability. So from there, I just kept doing it. I shared my story in some magazines and began writing, and we did 2 more books as we grew older. And then I started doing social media in 2020, just kind of for fun, sharing my stories, showing how I do things, how I live my life. And I've kept on doing that since 2020 and through my college career from 2020 to 2024, and have been able to build a career out of doing social media through doing speaking engagements, podcasts like this one, again, sharing my story in different magazines and news articles, and then have done my short film. So
That's
all
terrific.
things. That's as short as I could try to make it.
So what's your favorite platform? I know you're on multiple platforms. Which one do you like the most?
I think I like Instagram the most because you can do so much with it. You can share photos, videos, you can do written photo posts. I love using
Yes.
Instagram stories to share just photos like from my
Yep.
life. I think it's the most fun, but I think YouTube is really good for building community. I feel like I have so many loyal people on YouTube, like they look forward to my uploads. So
Yes.
that always makes me feel good.
And it tends to be a little bit longer form content and a little bit of a
Yes.
different audience. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, congratulations. You went to Davidson. Did you graduate, or were we catching you around
I did.
graduation time?
I graduated in May 2024. So
Oh, in
2 years ago.
2024. Okay. Well,
Yes.
congratulations on that. That's tremendous.
Thank you.
And so now tell us some of the things you're working on here because you are so busy. And I think, again, one of the things that drew me to you, yes, you're positive and you present well. And like, that's a great face for people with disabilities. I was impressed that even in your story, though, when you first say, invisible. But then you say, well, it's non-apparent.
Yeah.
So like seeing your evolution there and coming upon disability as such a young lady when you were, 8 years old, 10 years old, whatever, and even still as a young lady now, I think, that maturation and the level at which you're talking about disability, I guess impressed me.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet. I feel like that's definitely something I've had to work on, like, throughout the years, and I think because my disability happened so young, I honestly feel like that was like, if it was gonna happen, that was a good time because I hadn't hit my teen years yet. Teen years are very hard for everybody, even if you don't have a disability, so I think I'm glad that it happened before I was a teenager, and kids are very resilient, so just
Yes.
naturally, so that helped me, but I have always been a very positive person anyway, like, even just watching, like, our videos of me from before I was disabled and seeing how I was, I know that's just how I am, and I think I am very happy that that is just kind of how my personality is because it's definitely helped me throughout this disability identity and growth journey, um, but also, I mean, I'm still learning, will learn for the rest of my life, but,
We all have to
you
be
know
lifelong learners,
still
Sarah.
always can learn, and I'm happy that there's always more things to learn because I love learning, but I've learned so much just in the past few years from being, like, 18 and starting college to now being 24 and being 2 years out of college. I look back on things I used to say about my disability, I'm like, "Wow, I feel so different now."
Yeah.
So it's always
Yeah.
changing.
Well, again, what stuck out to me or sticks out to me is that most influencers, I think people can tell that they're trying to do something like in front of the camera. I think you come off as very authentic,
Thank you, I'm
particularly the
glad.
stories you were the genuine stories you were talking about, like interdependence, where I think you were talking about
Yes.
your roommates and you were trying to tie your shirt a certain way and like talking about that,
Mhm.
I think really helps and resonates well within the community because that's what
Yeah.
other people with disabilities are
I deal
experiencing.
with yeah, I that's really what I try to do is I always tell, like, my friends, I'm like, "I think I know I have, like, a very great following of very loyal supporters, but I think I could have even more followers if I decided I was just gonna, like, appeal to the non-disabled gays
Right,
and not talk about the hard things. I
right.
have a very niche audience and a very niche topic area that I like to cover because I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm gonna sit in front of the camera and be real and talk about the hard things, but also talk about the amazing things. I wanna talk about it all. I wanna give a very well-rounded view of that. But I do talk about very difficult things, like
Yes.
relying on people for help, how that affects your relationships with friends and family and romantic partners. Like, that's not always something that's easy for people to hear, especially non-disabled people who kind of get, annoyed, I guess, at disabled people actually having complex emotions.
Yes.
But I also so many people tell me they feel these same things and they're so glad to see somebody talking about it, and that's why I do it.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you present as like the all-American girl, so that like right there kind of gives it, like a relatable,
Mhm.
relatable factor.
Yes,
And
and more
what's interesting social media wise is I noticed like, with YouTube, for example, I've spoken with people from Alphabet and Google and YouTube. And, I'm sure you're aware, like anytime you put a hashtag disability or disabled or you talk about it, like they don't push our content as much as without because they're trying to protect people with disabilities. And what I'm constantly trying to influence the leaders in the social media space is that's not helping us because it's restricting our messages. It's restricting, like, people are shocked when they come and they're like, wait a minute, you've done 130 episodes and you've only got like 2,400 subscribers and,
right.
you only get a couple
Hard.
hundred views each thing. Like, this should be bigger.
It's
And they don't
hard.
under,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
they don't understand because when you put that disability component in there, the, the do-gooders at YouTube are trying to like protect it.
well, also, I think just the general public may not be fully interested in learning about disability.
Yes.
I definitely think, like, I have so many disabled people follow me, and I do have a lot of non-disabled people who follow me, and they tell me, like, they enjoy learning, that I have made them think about things they never would have thought about, so I do have a good majority of both, but I think, if I weren't disabled, I probably wouldn't be interested in disability, like, I obviously can't know that for sure, But what would have made me interested just beyond, like, wanting to be a good human being? Like, I think you have to find the people who just wanna be good human beings if they're
That's
not
right.
disabled, you know? And
That's
that's
right.
sadly
People who
kind of difficult.
yeah. Yeah, we're all in various states of ability.
Yeah.
You
Everybody
know,
is, yeah, and we'll all become disabled if we live long enough.
so you start out as a baby with, very reliant on everybody else to do everything for
Mhm.
you, and then you get to a certain age where I guess you kind of break free of that, but there's still so much interdependence and people don't really view it that way. And then if you're lucky enough to live old enough, yeah, then start to lose those abilities. So
It's like
again, we're all
a
in various
little
states of ability.
timeline, you know, of,
Yeah.
like, ups and downs, and I love that you bring up the interdependence that we all have because that's what I've noticed when I talk about these things, like you mentioned, my short film, the story with the top and the roommates. I wanna talk about those things because they do very much apply to disabled people, but I think those stories show how disability affects non-disabled people as well, and that we all have a role to play in being good human beings, being empathetic, helping people when we can. And non-disabled people, especially girls and women, need help with clothing all the time. So my need for help with clothing is not unusual and unique. But when you apply disability to the equation, people start to think
Yes.
that you shouldn't be asking friends or family for help and that you should have a paid caregiver.
Yeah.
And so
Or
they
you need
simplify
to you
it.
need to problem solve more or like,
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
just
they think I think I've noticed too, that's why I put no advice please on most of my videos. I don't want advice. People think there's a solution for every access barrier they have, and the
that's right.
reality is there is not.
No, there isn't.
And that's why, like, social model of disability doesn't fully work.
Yeah, so the corollary for me is like when I like a 40 or 50-year-old guy and I say to them, "Well, what would your life be like if you couldn't drive?"
Mm.
And that just blows their mind. They're like, what do you mean? Why wouldn't I be able to drive?" And like they just can't
They
comprehend.
can't
So,
comprehend being in that situation, and that's my situation. I need modifications to drive, I'm currently working on it, but I always tell people if you are able to just go to a car dealership, buy a car, and drive it out of there, you are so lucky.
right, right. Well, the autonomous vehicles are coming. We actually got
I
an
hope
episode coming up
so.
about that. So, all right, Sarah Todd, let's now look a little future for Sarah Todd. What does that look like? Where in 5 years and 10 years, what are we going to be expecting out of Sarah Todd?
I am hoping I'll continue public speaking. I was actually in Chicago this past week doing speaking engagement at the Abilities Expo, and that was really amazing. So I love doing speaking engagements. I love getting to talk to people. Like I had so many people who follow me come to the engagement and then talk to me afterwards. That was like my favorite part of doing that. So hopefully I'll continue doing public speaking. I am working on starting, I have my like public speaking, consulting, and social media business, but I'm working on starting a different business. I'm not sharing what it is yet, but
Okay, all right. Well,
hopefully
let
that
us know
business.
when you do. Maybe we'll have you back to talk about
Yes.
that.
Absolutely. So, hopefully that business will have taken off in the next 5 to 10 years, that's the goal. Because social media is not forever, in my opinion, like, it's a great thing to do right now, it's fun, great way to reach people, but something new will probably come along, and having a business of my own is more sustainable for the long term.
Yeah.
So,
And I think
that's the
two
goal.
things. I think just the greater environment of it is changing as well.
Yes, and
I'm sure you've been approached to be user generated content, right? The
yeah.
UGC.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Right.
Um, and you have to keep up with all the trends and how it's changing, and yeah,
Right.
so having a business is definitely, hopefully, more sustainable long term, so that's the goal, yeah.
All right, great. All right. So as we begin to conclude here, then, what do you want to tell our listeners, our viewers here? How can they get in touch with you and consume your content?
Well, I'm at Sarah Todd Hammer, my full name on all my channels. It's SarahToddHammer. That's on my Instagram, my YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, all those things. And then I do have a website, which is www.sarahtoddhammer.com for contact. And you can find my short film on there and on my YouTube that David was talking about. So
Yeah, you should definitely check it out. What is it, 15 minutes or so? It's
yeah, it's
great.
like 11 minutes. Exactly. Yeah, about
It's
11.
well done. Whoever produced it for you did a great job.
Thank you. Yes, he was so great. It was my friend's husband, and we brought in another videographer and editor to help too. And that was such a special project. So that is on my YouTube and on my website. So
Nice, nice. All right, so any parting thoughts here for our audience?
I always like to leave people with a quote if I can. My favorite quote is "Going through things you never thought you'd go through will only take you places you never thought you'd get to" by Morgan Harper Nichols. I just think that really encapsulates my journey and experience in my life and really highlights post-traumatic growth, and it's a real thing. So, I love to leave people with that.
Excellent. Well, again, positive from a positive person. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, Sarah, Todd, thank you so much for joining. We appreciate you. And
Yes,
send
thank
us all
you.
those links. We'll put them in the description. Please,
Yes.
everybody listening and watching, check out her stuff, Sarah Todd.
Thank you
So,
so much, David.
well, it's been great having you. We appreciate you. And thanks everybody else for watching and listening. Again, if you can help us by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, all of that really does help us keep great content flowing for you. So it's David Darkangelo, another episode of Say Visibility, and I hope you have a great day.
For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save As Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, our YouTube channel at Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #TheNewRadio. Again, my name is David Darkangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time, thank you. I hope you have a great day.